Every child he adopts dies, and the reason will break your heart. The heartwarming story of Mohamed Bazeek, a quiet, devout, Libyan-born Muslim who lives in Azusa, California, has dedicated his life to children with terminal illnesses for over 20 years as a foster father. Let's start this heartwarming story of Mohamed Bzeek, but before we start, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel to get some interesting stuff. Mohamed Bzeek lives in Los Angeles in the US and is a foster parent for orphans, children abandoned by their families or those with a fatal disease. Bzeek, age 62, is a portly man with a long, dark beard and a soft voice. The oldest of 10 children, he came to this country from Libya as a college student in 1978. Years later, through a mutual friend, he met a woman named Dawn who would become his wife. She had become a foster parent in the early 1980s before she met Bzeek. Her grandparents had been foster parents, and she was inspired by them, Bzeek said. Before she met Bzeek, she opened her home as an emergency shelter for foster children who needed immediate placement or who were placed in protective custody. In 1989, the two began to take care of terminally ill children who were abandoned by their parents by giving them all the love they needed and trying to alleviate their condition as much as possible. Bzeek managed to save 70 lives of the 80 children he's fostered. He's also with his children on their last journey. After the death of his wife, which occurred around 2015, Mohammed decided to continue the mission they'd started together. He kept on going to the hospital and giving his time and love to children with special needs affected by terminal diseases. Among the many children who lived in his house and benefited from his care is a girl who was only 2 years old at the time. Today she's 6 and suffering from a serious neurological disease. The little girl is blind, deaf, paralyzed from legs to arms. Her parents abandoned her, probably because taking care of her was too hard for them. Mohammed decided to take her home with him. "I know she can't hear, can't see, but I always talk to her," he said. "I'm always holding her, playing with her, touching her. She has feelings. She has a soul. She's a human being." Bzeek is also seen as a hero by Americans and received the International Benevolence Award, organized for the 4th time by the Diane Net Foundation. His life is also being made into a documentary directed by Ensar Altay to help children in other countries with a foundation he intends to open. Bzeek told Anadolu Agency that he's come to Turkey for the first time and his story will be introduced to the documentary. Explaining he met his wife in 1989, Bzeek said that being a foster family is a tradition in his wife's family. He started to be a foster parent thanks to his wife. One of his children died in 1991 and cried continuously for 3 days. "When I take in a child, I don't care about their country, color, or religion. I just give them the help that they need. I see myself as their biological father instead of a foster parent." 10 of the foster children have passed away in his care. Some have died in his arms. Mohamed Bazeek knew they would die, but he took them in anyway. Bzeek lives in Los Angeles and is the only foster parent in the county known to take in these terminally ill children. The children require round-the-clock care. Almost all the children who spent their final years with Bzeek were sent to him directly from the Los Angeles County hospitals as infants, where they were given up or abandoned by parents who were unable to care for them. If anyone ever calls us and says, "This kid needs to go home on hospice," there's only one name we think of, said Melissa, an intake coordinator who finds placement for sick children. He's the only one that would take a child who would possibly not make it. Bzeek has one biological child of his own, Adam, a son who was born with brittle bone disease and dwarfism. He said he sleeps very little and deals with children 24/7. You need a license for a foundation. You need a building with doctors, nurses, and teams. However, our work has just started. In 1995, we decided to adopt orphans left at hospitals or taken from their families by the state because of violence and pressure. The only house that accepts orphans and children who are about to die in Los Angeles is my house. I've dealt with 80 children since 1989. 10 children lost their lives in my arms. Bzeek is always called on by the Department of Child Services. They tell me when children are about to die and ask if I can adopt them. They know that I do not hesitate to accept. If I don't, they're sent to hospitals and don't have a family or a house. However, when I take them, they feel a family atmosphere. They feel safe and are loved until the end of their lives. Bzeek, whose story was told in the Los Angeles Times last year, said that even his closest friends do not know what he does or he does not talk about it. He just helps children in need and does not look for other people's admiration. Many Americans have been influenced by my story. They told me that my story built their belief in humanity again and changed their perspective of Muslim Americans. Muslims in the US are seen as criminals, killers, and bad people. and Islam is just the religion of blood and devastation. However, I showed them true Islam. Islam is about love and compassion and sympathy for other people. Islam doesn't give importance to people's past and backgrounds, he said. Donations are collected for him at house of worship of different religions. According to Bazeek, our religion tells us to help people in need regardless of their religion. Besides, many people give me different names like Muslim Mohammed Teresa, Angel Visiting the World, or Wingless Angel. They say I do holy work. An atheist said that after he read about me, he hoped there is a God to reward me. A female atheist teacher said, "I have never said may God bless you to anyone in my life, but your story makes me say it to you." He said Muslims cannot be divided if they help each other and love and protect each other. I hope and know that I can receive help for the foundation to help children who are about to die. This foundation will cost much time and money. We will need manpower to construct the building. If we can officially open the foundation, we can also help children living in other countries. He's also introduced Islam to non-Muslims. Bazeek said, "Islam doesn't change, but people do. As a Muslim, I think we should divide Islam and Muslims. Islam remains unchanged while Muslims change. Non-Muslims see our behavior. When a Muslim doesn't behave properly, they have wrong thoughts about Islam. Our responsibility is to change this perception and show what true Islam is. Islam isn't a religion of killing or destroying, but of love and patience. Islam is the best religion for humanity." Thousands of dollars were donated when Bazeek's GoFundMe page was launched. With a total of more than $500,000, people are still contributing money almost every day. Here are some of the things that the donations are being used for. Mohammed is going to get central air conditioning and heating. Both of Mohammed's children have problems regulating body temperature. Right now, Mohammed just has a swamp cooler in his living room. He mentioned that in the summer, when it gets hot, the family has to spend all their time in the living room near the swamp cooler. Mohammed has not taken a single day off since 2010. In 2010, he took 6 weeks off to visit family in Libya. But apart from that, he hasn't taken a day off since 2000. The donations will enable Mohammed to hire another nurse if he needs additional support or needs to take a break. Mohammed is very happy to be able to use some of the donations towards his son Adam's college education. Mohammed also has a 2003 van. He's very dependent on his van to take his children to doctor and hospital visits. He would like to use part of the donation to get a new, wheelchair-accessible vehicle. Mohammed mentioned that his roof has been leaking badly for a while. He said that the donations came in at just the right time. That's all for today's story. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video with your friends.